And hello. Oh, let's get ready for my close-up. Okay, so I'm Bo, and this is my morning rant. I woke up about an hour and a half ago, and then I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I got things to do. I'm not going to just go live and talk to the camera. And then I ended up just talking to the camera. So I'm sitting here doing this exact thing, talking to you as if I was going live. And I'm like, oh, that's exactly the worst thing to do, is to not do anything productive and not do anything productive. I mean, this is literally productive. I mean, it's producing something. It's recording. See, am I in focus? I don't even know what's happening. Oh, I am. Oh, my vision is not in focus. Okay, so I'll take that. That's fine. I don't need to see myself. It's other people. For whatever reason, we need to see each other. It is important. It's literally something that Alex Jones introduced me to when I'm producing a show. He's like, no, people need to see the face. They need to have the face, human face up close. I'm like, there is something to that, because I've always thought the best thing to do is like a voiceover, like Adam Friended or something, his videos where, well, he doesn't ever push his own, well, he does. He puts his face out there, but he's not pushing his face, right? Like Sitch and Adam do a thing, and their little faces are very small. Well, Sitch isn't even hidden. He's not even showing his real face. So yeah, so you see, I mean, it can be done, and I feel like whatever. I mean, I'm just theorizing now. Hold on. The point is, let's actually look up Karen Bass's RQ. Okay? Okay, people. All right. So, okay, first of all, you're so ignorant, you don't know what RQ is. So RQ, it is the total people that want something, that have actively stated something, divided by the total membership, not just of other people who voted. So if you count just people who voted, you're a voter supremacist. You just want only those people who voted recognized. But in reality, if you did not vote, we're counting everybody, right? I mean, who's counting? Look how we're off on the president, right? Donald Trump is the 44th president. Like that's what he is. He's not the 45th and the 47th. He's the 44th. But you can call him that because the government has said, no, we're going to label them that way. So that's how we label them. Just like we label progressives, the group of people that are left-wing fascists, we label them progressives. Even though they're now saying they want to keep it the same. So they're now conservative, actually, in real life. And the conservatives are now regressive because they want to go back to the way it used to be. I'm a progressive because I want to move forward with libertarianism and free market. And so I'm a progressive, but people think progressive means the team progressive. So there's completely different ways we use words when we're talking about groups of people. So just recognize, are you talking about a label? Because a label doesn't matter. Like, you're a Nazi. For watching this, you're a Nazi. Well, you are a Nazi. I mean, the one thing we know is you're a Nazi. We don't know what a Nazi means because I haven't told you. You can guess. You can go look at a dictionary, but that's what other people have used Nazi to mean. So a word means only what the speaker thinks it means, and that's it. So that's oh, I don't have it plugged in. Okay, so great. Not ready to do a live show if I don't have old Streamy plugged in, but that's where we are. Okay, so I'm looking up Karen Bass's RQ. The RQ, you saw what it is. It goes along with this whole kind of whatever the hell. What's going on here? That's right. You can get Homer making. Oh, this is. You haven't seen this Homer, huh? Yeah, when I went to Athens, these things were like $2 or something. I wish I had bought tons of them. I thought, oh, I'll just buy them when I get back home. Nope, you can't buy them anywhere. Okay, so yeah, that's what one-to-one representation is. That's just forming a body of elected representatives to speak on your own behalf. We don't do that now. Currently, we speak separately. So we're all just kind of speaking into the wind. Even if you have 10 million followers, no one's tracking it and remembering it and documenting. I mean, they're documenting, but it's random. It's not what we want. We're not measuring anything. RQ is how you measure that. So each person chooses a person to speak on their own behalf. Then RQ is what appears above their head. So you don't even need to know what RQ is. If you can't do math, that's fine. Someone else will do the math. All you need to do for this process to work is elect a representative. That's something that happens in your head There's a sound effect that goes along with that. That is not, I can plug it in. I'm going to plug it in. Okay, we're taking a break, guys. We're taking a break. Technology break. I don't even know where it is. And so this is brought to you by putting the markings above on the top of the laptop where the effing connections are. See, I can't, and I don't even have my vision in. I don't even know what's happening anymore. Here it is. Unbelievable. This is really good. Well, it's not about you. It's about me. Okay. And we're back. See? Okay. That's what happens in your head. Electing is something that happens in your head. Okay, but let's go. Okay, now we're going to minimize this. We're going to move along. We're going to be looking at Karen Bass. Why am I not showing you? Well, because that's what I'm not doing. Okay, so Karen Bass, votes received or something. Oh, this is not, hold on. This was a last second thing. I was like, I'm just going to show people what it's like to do it. But then I'm not showing you. See, you're not looking at me what I'm looking at. And so all you do is you get the worst of both worlds. So but Karen Bass what is she doing? Votes received. It was like 180 or something. 48% counted, 139,000 votes. This doesn't help me at all, dude. I am not ready to do this. Anyway, I'll just walk you through it and you go do it yourself. So for instance, Mamdani's is 15.6%. That's how many people voted for Mamdani. And that's even in the final. But the real information is in the primary. How many people in the primary, before it was narrowed down to this person, how many people truly want Karen Bass, right? So how many people want her? So if she gets 300,000 votes, whatever, I don't know what she's going to get. We're still reporting. Let's say she gets 300,000 votes. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Whatever the number of votes is, that's the top. That's the numerator of our thing. And you divide that by the total adult citizens, the CVAP. CVAP is a U.S. Census term. I didn't make that up. RQ is what I made up. So if you have a better term for it, or if there's some more sort of industry term that is simply how many people have chosen something, I'm using RQ, and you can use whatever you want. The concept is that you need to know the actual number of how many people support somebody. Like knowing that 15.6% of people voted for Mamdani is crucial to understand what's going on in the world. A very small group of people dominate. This is not democracy. That's not democracy. So people say, that's democracy. Look, democracy's stupid. Okay, it's clearly not democracy. If we're only going with 15.6% of the people, you would at least, if we were to do something democratic, people have a general understanding that what we would be doing is going with what most people want to do. That's generally how people think of it. Then you learn as you grow up and you go, oh, it's not most people, it's not a majority, it's a plurality. And then we learned that plurality is sometimes like 15.6%. And that's not even really reflective, because those people would not choose him necessarily. They would love to choose someone else, but there's only a handful of people that you can choose from. So elected representation means you're electing. That means you can choose from anyone in the world. Anyone in the group, the global would be the whole society. So if we're talking about United States, adult United States citizens, US CVAP, the adult Americans, that's who you can choose from. You can choose from any American. For New York mayor, who would you choose from? Residents of New York. You have to be a resident. How many residents of New York are there? You can choose a resident to be mayor. That is your election, and it happens in your head. Remember, you don't have to tell anyone. You've elected. And if you've elected someone in your head, that means they are elected. We don't recognize who you've elected. I'm saying one-to-one representation, we can recognize who we elect. So you divide that by the total residents, adult citizens of LA for Bass. So she gets a total number of votes divided by the total number of adult citizens. That's everybody. That's what one-to-one is. One-to-one is representing each person. So we're not leaving anybody out. You hide in a cave and you don't want to talk to anyone, we count you. You're always counted as a no vote. We're saying that person did not support this bill. We haven't heard from him. They didn't support that bill. Anyone who never talked to this group, the board, the body of elected representatives, they never talked to anyone. We don't know what they said, so it's a no. Did they support it? We don't have any evidence of support, so no. So we're measuring only support, not negative. So getting people to vote against something doesn't matter. Only the positive is shown. So it allows people to come together. You're looking at only what you support. And the idea of RQ is that you can combine through the common denominator. Now, the total members of the society in LA would be the total adult residents. That is the common denominator. That means if this many people support this, and over here, another group that never talks to this other group, they hate each other, this group supports the same statement, that means that statement is supported by RQ plus RQ. We're measuring the RQ. How much actual support do they have? So RQ provides us the common denominator to add in and put a numerical value, a measurement, an actual percentage of how many people are actually supporting something. So what you will never get is some kind of wild progressive idea that just all of a sudden is what we're all doing. It would never be some half-baked thing. You can't get anything pushed through. It would never be more than 5% of people. Once you've got 15%, that would be something that you could now, work with. But once everyone understands it's only 15% of people that support that, they're not going to go for it. There's nothing you can do. What it does is, so currently you can go to people and say, hey, everyone's gay pride, man. It's gay pride this, gay pride that. You got to be gay pride now. And the companies, the politicians, they can go, okay, yeah, you're right. I guess I got to be pro gay pride. Okay. But when they realize that this is like 10% of the population talking, they can go, wait a minute. Okay, well, maybe not. Or maybe I'm going to be a little bit, or I'll go, okay, I'm going to say positive things. I'm not going to just dedicate my campaign. We're going to have rainbow flags and it's all gay. They're not understanding what's going on. Remember, politicians are just full of crap. They're just doing the best they can to survive. We are telling them, this is what you do. Lie, cheat, steal. So if anyone's complaining about politicians, that's either a low cognitive person or someone who just doesn't understand the systemic situation we're in. I mean, the system it's single winner. So everything is single winner. You have to have a majority of people. We're representing only the most incompetent of society. That's the system we have with elected representation in governments. What I'm saying, let's have actual elected representation for a body of elected representatives, a board of ourselves. We just need to have a conversation ourselves, regardless of governments. So let's just do it ourselves. And the way we would do it would be with the way anyone would do it in their right mind. I choose my candidate, and that's it. I mean, it's not a candidate. I nominate a person, and that is the election. So there's no nominating. We just simply skip that part. The nomination is now the election. So what I'd say to you is, nominate a person. Who would you nominate? Okay, well, that person got elected. You see, you did it, dumbass. So when you nominate, you just close your eyes and go, who would I say? And as soon as you think of somebody, that's nominating. You're choosing that person. Choosing, right? And so you have elected representation if you can elect anyone you want of the group. So I choose anybody, myself, that guy, my mom. Okay. That's election if you can choose anybody. And you have representation, elected representation, if you can choose a person and that person speaks on your behalf in the meeting with your power, with your time. It has your ability. See, RQ allows us without any rules. There's no bureaucracy. There are no rules. There is just simply the 11 words, right? So there's just the 11 words, right? So there are no rules. That's all, see, I'm learning more hotkey issues. But that's how it works. You elect a representation. You elect a representative, and then that's it. The RQ gives you that number, and that's it. So we're all sitting around with what? We have a different number above our heads. Well, what do? Well, we know the step 3, I guess, is then you. So if there's 3 steps, then there would be you elect the reps. You measure that RQ, and that gives you the thing, and then you silence the zeros. So you silence zeros. 0, if your RQ 0, that means you elected somebody else. You're out of the room. Get out of here. You're out of the chat room, out of the room, off the website, of that part of the website or that part of the building or whatever. You're not involved. You're not watching from the rafters or anything like that. So you're completely out of the picture. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get rid of people. We don't want people just screaming and shouting over each other. We want to see, oh, you all agree and want to say the same exact thing? Oh, well, hey, let's combine you as one person. And we give you combined power so you don't lose anything. No one's losing anything. Currently, if you can elect one person or over another, you might lose. Oh, well, the Republicans and Democrats have much bigger chance of getting elected. So, you if you want to get someone elected, you got to what do other people do? You got to look at what other people. No, 1-to-1 is you. You are matter. You're real. We are measuring you always. You count. You elected someone, that's one. One out of, in America, that'd be 1/250 millionth. You want to know what Kamala Harris's RQ is? The only time the Democratic Party could have done it however they wanted, they could measure things however they want. They could say it's magic beans and unicorns now, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's its own entity. So they measure things however they want to measure them. And they chose the process that they chose. And the process they chose, which is how they documented how many people wanted to support Kamala Harris, they only got 844 people that ever in the human history, 844 American citizens, that's the most, that's how many people chose Kamala Harris as their president in the primary of 2020, right? So that primary of 2020, that's where she got 844 votes, and that's it. After that, she was chosen to be on the ballot with Biden. And so you could argue all kinds of things about that, but that's Biden and her. So we don't know what people think about her. All we know is the data, 844 people chose her. And then they didn't even have the election for 24. They didn't have the election. They just did a vote of the delegates, which are the total party people. I mean, you've got to be a complete party person. Completely involved in the party. So that's a completely warped vision of it, right? Those people don't reflect the actual people because they don't elect them, right? They say that they elect them. I mean, they call themselves the Democratic Party. They are less Democratic than the Republicans. They have those pseudo-delegates that are not elected. They have unelected delegates. So remember, that's a label. They are the Democrats in that's what they're called, but they're not democratic in any way. They're the opposite of that, more. 99.9% not Democratic and 0.1% Democratic. And then of all things, the Republicans are more Democratic than the Democrats. That's a strange thing. But understand labels and then what meaning of word is. So we label it elected representation. What's this process called? Well, the government calls it elected representation. So that's what we call it legally. In a court of law, you might say elected representation, da-da-da-da-da. When you're talking about it in the government point of view, it means not choosing and not having people speak on your behalf. People speak on your behalf. So elected representation is what we don't have. And anyway, so whenever you think about it, your brain always goes back to the brainwashing. No, we have the Democrat, those delegates were elected. They're not elected. That's my point. Nothing is elected in this world. Once we realize there will be someone out there who understands elected representation and who will be able to communicate it better than me. Once that happens, and we have 4% of the population simply electing in their head, closing their eyes, and just electing a representative. Once we have 4 million people of American citizens, well, 1.67%, whatever that is. It might be 100,000 years from now. Who knows, right? But it could be tomorrow, because literally a viral video, right? Something can go out, it could be tomorrow, that 4 million people go, oh, wait, all I have to do is just think in my head something? Yeah, I'll do that, sure. What's this guy saying? Oh, the solution is just me thinking something in my head? Okay. Yeah, I mean, once a year, think in your head, who would you choose for that year to represent you to report on the federal government? That's the first board that I'm forming. So you can, of course, elect anything you want and then hope that the rest of the world chooses that too. But like, I'm starting it specifically to be report on the federal government. Adult Americans form a board to report on the federal government. Who have you chosen? I chose Thomas Massey. My friend Dubs chose Chris Starwalt. It doesn't have to be a reporter. It doesn't have to be a politician. It can be anyone. It can be yourself, which is defeating the purpose. Because remember, RQ is 0. Remember, if you vote for yourself, your RQ not 0. We don't remove you from the room, technically. We remove you from the room because there's not enough seats. Because if there's 250 million people in our society, and we're all going to elect representatives, and you voted for yourself and no one else voted for you, right? Maybe your wife voted for you so that you have RQ1 or RQ2. Okay, that's not enough. That's not anything to be impressed about. What we need to do is wait till you're 1 part per million. Oh, and by the way, Kamala's would be 3 parts per million. So her RQ, the percentage, is 3 parts per million. So I don't know what that percentage is, like 0.00003% or something. But it's that's extremely low. And that's what's so shocking about that they didn't have an election for her. 844 people, Democrats, alleged Democrats, but it could be anybody, because in Texas at least, anybody can vote in any primary. It's not, but you can't vote in both. You can just choose whichever primary you vote in. And so that's politics. That's a nonsense game. That's a two-party machine. I'm not talking about that at all. 1-to-1, I mean, yeah, if you want to talk about that, but that's hundreds of years to really fix something, or decades. And then what? What did you do? You fixed a tiny thing? I'm saying, let's fix the problem at the core problem. We don't have a conversation going on amongst Americans. Americans need to come together in a single conversation, not a few over here talking about this on some website, a few over there, and then constant crisscrossing where people are belonging to different groups. We need to measure each person, 1 vote. You elect a representative, that person speaks on your behalf. That way, you can't argue with it. You got to choose anyone you wanted to choose. You chose a corrupt person, that's on you. They're not choosing a corrupt person for you. You see how it is now? Now what we have with elected representation, which is not elected or representation, we have someone that might be corrupt. Oh, the dummies chose a corrupt person. But with 1-to-1, I'm choosing my representative. If they're corrupt, I'm the idiot that chose that guy. I choose a different person. If they're a corrupt again, maybe I go, wait a minute, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. And I back out, or I just say, I rethink myself and go, wait a minute, how am I being lied to? How am I being manipulated? And then I sort of rely on other people and more things. I move forward. Or I spend the rest of my life voting for corrupt people, and so be it. Whatever it is, one person can do whatever they want to do, and it's not going to bring it all down. The rest of us are going to do the most reasonable thing because we're not going to destroy ourselves. Most people, this is the thing, it's a conservative controlled thing. So that's how conservatives benefit from 1-to-1. It's absolutely conservative. You have to get agreement before anything can even be on the radar. So you have to have people agree on something for it to be on the radar. And then we can always see how low these are. It's going to be like 7-8% or at most, right? But that helps us because as a progressive, I'm moving forward. Oh, this is 8% support. That's big. That would be big. And we go, oh, well, so what it does is conservatives are in control. They're always the ones making the final decision of whether anything's done. But progressives are always able to come together. So you have constant progressivism, constant conservatism. But the progressives are coming together and thinking and talking and hashing out amongst themselves, which is what should be happening. We should not be doing this kind of Nazi-like behavior that the gay community is engaged in, the trans community, all of the races, everything, all of the intersectional communities have been turned into Nazis to, just, get as much power, do as much as you can. And instead of that, those people would be having a conversation about what do we actually want? What is the end result that we want? And we would all agree, we don't want people to incentivize people to be trans, to be gay. We don't want people benefiting from any kind of racial profile. We would want equality is what we're after. And then so then that brings up equity in people's minds. And so that's another separate issue, that people are confusing this with a family. This is not a family. In a family, you can do equity. Like if grandma needs special attention and we all need to do things for her, she doesn't go to work, we all pay her bills basically, and we take care of her. That's how a family works, because you want to do that for her. But we're a nation of people, not a nation of a genetic nation. We're a group of citizens that don't necessarily like each other. We might want to kill each other. So this is not where some people should get more than others. This is where we should do equality. So if you're ever giving government from the cheese to everybody from the government, it goes to everybody. First of all, you're getting rid of the bureaucracy of determining who gets what. All you know is you got your cheese and that's it. Now we can say, did you get 2 pieces of cheese per person? Well, that's cheating. That's a lot easier to track, and you don't have to have as much money put into the policing of it as you do with guys with this much income get this much and this much. And so you got to now track people's income. How about you're a citizen, you get this for free? Everybody gets a check. Everybody. There's no calculating who gets it, who doesn't. Everybody gets the check. And when I talk about budget reduction dividend, where if we reduce, I can't be the only one that thought of this. It's very simple. Anything I think of is simple. It's been thought before, nothing new under the sun. So BIRD is budget reduction dividend. Okay, so you have your budget here. For the next year, if it goes down, this amount of money is divided among unlock me. I hate you so much. What are you doing? This is AI. This is wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm zoomed in. Whatever. Oh my God. Okay. So, that's on me. I'm way too distracted by that. I should be over that by now. This is not that difficult. It's. I can just do this. Maybe it goes back or something. Oh, yeah. See, I need to think like a winner and not a. This is feminine thinking or something. This is like I'm thinking like a child or I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's just reacting. I don't like it. Oh, it does this again. That's what I mean when I say I think in a feminine way. It's not. I'm not saying negative. I'm saying it's just something that is the passive. This is passive thing, and maybe that's what we need to tell women. It's passive and active, and that's another thing. Is women need to learn how to be assertive. They seem to be aggressive. They think aggression is assertion. Women are not natural cowards. That's one of the things, because they're protecting the nest. If it comes to the woman, it's like gouge its eyes out, die. It doesn't matter if you die because you got the babies. So if they got to the babies, it's just all or nothing. Whereas the men are out there on the perimeter dealing with, let's back off of this thing until I get more guys together. Okay. So let's see how I handle it. This is a psychological test on me. I got it. No problem. Somehow that unlocked me. You just pray to the gods. Oh, no, it locked me again. Okay, is that it? Is it praying to the gods? Gods, let me go. Thank you. Okay. We might as well invoke the gods and introduce the Burger Boy with his new hat. I was obsessed with making the hat stick out for some reason. I wanted this hat to stick out and come out three-dimensionally from the wall when video production is a two-dimensional thing. There doesn't need to be any three dimensions going on. This is not for people inside the room. Anyway, so tell me what you think. Do you think his hat should be tilted like that? Is it enough of a hat? Do I need to add a little fluff or something in the middle, on the top? To me, it looked like a Burger Boy. And then when I was like, Burger Boy, God, I have my Burger Boy t-shirt here. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy, Burger Boy, corporate logo, Burger Boy, pansexual spokes thing. So this is my pansexual spokes thing. This is my pit pat of sorts, which is an interesting pieces of that were golden in Mr. Show, which is brilliant in itself. Okay, but they're all left-wing fascists. Bing bang bing bang bing. I could talk on forever, on and on, but yeah, I'll eventually calculate Karen Bass's RQ. That's just how many votes she total gets out of the total population. So that's what you need to see, is how few people, even though they narrow it down and you don't really have a choice, how few people actually elected Karen Bass, actually elected Mamdani, actually elected any position in the United States. It's shockingly low. It is about 15% of people that control everything. Which 15%? The dumbest, the most easily manipulated. Think about it. Go vote. People are manipulated by that. Go vote. Oh, time to vote. They think that voting, just going and voting, they think mindlessly having no idea what they're doing and just clicking buttons and doing things, that's helping. They think that that's helping because we're run by the majority of the most incompetent. Not even all of the incompetent. Not even the most incompetent of the society, but half of the most incompetent. Just the majority. That's it. And why? Because we have single winner districts, single winner situations. Whenever you have one person that's going to be chosen, it will never represent everybody. It can't. That human cannot do that. That homo cannot do that. That's the problem. You can't have that. So if you only have enough money for one dog catcher and you're going to elect a dog, okay, yeah, it's got to be that way. But that's approval voting. That's how you would do that. Approval voting. Approval voting is where you vote for each thing, each item. Like we're going to have a picnic, okay? We're only going to bring one food at the picnic. We're going to one restaurant at the picnic, right? So you can pick, so who wants to go to Taco Bell? Raise your hand. Okay, everybody put your hands down. Who wants to go to McDonald's? Raise your hand. Okay, everybody put their hand down. You see, you're asking, you can now vote on each thing. These are candidates. It's supposed to be that you're voting on the candidate, right? But currently, with single winner, and first past the post, they only let you vote on one of them positively. And they say, well, stop, that's enough. You voted for this guy, positive? You like this guy? Okay, hold on a second. No vote, no vote, no vote, no vote, no vote, no vote, no, 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 no. Every other option is no. That's not how you really feel, but that's what they do. It's just not reflecting what you think. This is government. That's how it works. It's got its own purposes. We need to come together, whoever we are. Groups of people, if they have an issue, they need to come together. Typically, groups of people that need to come together and form board are classes of high schools, classes of middle schools, not necessarily, I mean, you should, but that's kind of in the future. They'll learn to do that in the future. And then, that's where you get real problems. You have, it's already, adults live in this kind of middle school mentality, right? Like look at, your live streamer types, like these like Hassan Piker and Dave Smith. You know how they're into like zinging and insulting each other and demeaning, and everybody gets into that. It's like they think that's the actual thing because that's how we run society, by conversation. So free societies are run by conversation. And so they want to make sure, well, I guess every society is. So they always want to crack down on the conversation. So they're just trying to control it. And some people are going, oh, everyone's I'm trying to be entertaining and funny so that people can watch me and then I can persuade them to do what? It's a waste. It's a complete waste. We need to just come together and directly elect our representatives and start having a conversation ourselves about what we want to talk about, what we want to do, what we want to see. YouTubers need to come together and say what they want to be, how they want to be treated by YouTube. The viewers of YouTube need to come together and say what they want to see in their algorithm. You don't get everything you want, but you can now say what you want, and we can see everybody wants that. Once YouTube sees 90% of people want it this way, if they don't do it, every other company now knows, oh, wait a minute. You mean I could steal YouTube's base by simply pointing out, hey, we'll do that over here? Yeah, YouTube's going to do it. That's how co-opting works. They don't want to lose you, but you've got to at least be able to leave. You can't be in your bed, hunkered down with popcorn, threatening, I'm not going to stay here and watch the rest of this. You're going to stay there. You've got to be able to go somewhere else and say, I will go somewhere else. And then what do they have? Why do they care? They're making money. They got you. You want YouTube to be successful as a viewer of YouTube, and they want you to be happy being on it. I mean, once you realize the dynamic of establishment and board, the body of elected representatives of the actual members of whatever group it is, it's board and boss and board. There's the boss who's got the power, got the money, whatever it is, right? If you're the guy donating money to the thing, you've got to say yes to it. Like if Elon says, "All right, I'll support whatever the bull. We're going to build a Capitol building for the bull." Okay, so I know that's probably 30% accurate, Elon. We're going to build a bore. I'll give you, $10 million to do it. But if we come up with, we're going to have a big F.U. Elon statue, he would probably say, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. So he's the boss in that scenario. We are the board conversing with the boss. How do we talk to the boss? We ask for this and the boss gives it to us, or we go work for someone else. We go to another billionaire, and say, well, basically what's going to come down to, here's the secret. Build a giant statue of the guy who gives the most money to the board, okay? You just, not only will they'll be the hero, because they're going to actually be the hero of all humanity with elected representation and everything. Because this is something that, once you form the board of reporting on the federal government, then everyone can see how to form a board. Everyone's forming them everywhere. But the beauty of a board is it doesn't form unless it's needed. You can't have a board that still exists when there's no need for it. It would not be there anymore, right? You can't do it. It's one-to-one representation. Every year it's wiped clean, periodically. Every year it's wiped clean and we start from scratch. You don't get to say, I want this guy as my representative and then that's all eternity. No. It has to be an active thing that happens. If no one elects anybody, it's back to where it started, where we are now. We have a board in the United States of adult Americans. We're just inactive. We are each speaking on our own behalf. I'm proposing we each speak on our own behalf in a single meeting. We measure our amount, one. I have one. We transfer that to another person if we want, or keep it ourselves, so we can elect any member, including ourselves. Our vote our power of speaking, the number one, that number transfers to this other person that we've elected. And now we add the numbers up. It's just that one transfer. Now, measure RQ, right? Measure RQ. How many people, what's his RQ here? He's got 53. How many total members? 1,000. He's got 53 divided by 1,000. That's his RQ. So you could say RQ is the number 53. Like within the organization, we go, oh, he's 53, he's 280. I mean, we'd know that it's divided by 1,000. But in fact, you'd probably still be asking, what's the common denominator for this year? Because it's changing. The membership number changes. So he's 52. What's common denominator? What's the CD? You'd want to know what the membership is, because that's the common thing. And then you would need those two. You're going to be referencing the RQ in two different ways, the numerator and then the whole fraction. And like I'm saying, when you're talking about big, it's just better for big organizations. So we got 250 million in the United States. So we would be measuring, I'm suggesting 1 part per million. Once you have 250, that's where you start paying attention. But it's up to you. Whatever you think is a low RQ, 1 or 2 is obviously low to everybody. That means you voted for yourself, or only your wife voted for you. That's not enough. Out of America, the entire United States, you only got one person to elect you. Okay, so that's not worthy of listening to you. So everyone has a breaking point, and I would say start to pay attention, keep track at 250. That's where you're looking at the charts, right? So there'd be charts, it's going up, it's going down, this guy's RQ's here and there, and you'll see that people, there's kind of an arc, I guess. They go up and down, or I guess everybody's on a different thing. I guess really skilled people who are good and attractive, one of the outcomes is probably the utopia in the boar, everyone's a hot chick, right? Everyone's probably a hot chick in a bikini. I mean, that's really probably what the boar is eventually going to be. Because when you start operating like this is a person operating on my behalf, that's an agent doing a job. Like Thomas Massey is not making decisions himself, like just willy-nilly. He is bound. He's not a leader, he's a follower. He's following the Constitution. He's following the rules. I'm telling him what he should be doing. We all tell him what he should do. He's following the rules. He'll tell you what rules he's following, but he's a follower. He's not a leader. This whole distorted version of it. If you want a leader, then elect a leader to do something. That's usually one single person. That would be approval voting. But if you want to have a conversation about what the hell do we do, like we're at the beginning of this, what do we do? And so the boar is something that you pull out of your pocket whenever it gets a little crazy. Like, let's say we have a boar, we find out what to do, we create this whole thing and problems are solved. Everyone's feeling much better. But when people start to have problems, we go, wait a minute. I know we got rid of the hundreds of billions of dollars of waste, but now we still have billions of dollars of waste. And eventually that will be uncomfortable with people. And then they will, they'll form a boar. I mean, the boar can be formed at any time. So that's what keeps the boss will always co-opt the boar and say, oh no, do the boar under me. So this will be the boar under the supervision of the boss, right? So that would be the viewers of YouTube have a boar under the supervision of YouTube. It works for everybody because YouTube knows who has an account or who doesn't. YouTube can keep track of that a lot easier than us. So we don't want to do it. We want to do it that way. It's just easier. And there you go. So that's essentially what it's going to be. When that rots and becomes corrupted, you have the threat and you have the option and you have the actual people going and forming a boar somewhere. And once the boars form, once you got 1.67%, you're starting to persuade things. You're starting to make decisions. And then that means everyone's going to go flock to you because you cannot stop. It's unstoppable. That's what makes it an answer to the universe. You cannot stop this. You can't keep people from representing themselves. Representing themselves. That's it. Choosing in their own head who speaks on their own behalf. Just, you thought of something. You can't stop people from thinking. And when people understand what one-to-one representation is, that I elect a person and they got my speaking power, okay, hold on, I get it now. Once you get it and you've seen it done, there's no forgetting it. There's no, even stupid people would understand it because that's all they need to know. I elect a person and they got my voting number. Okay, so we start with one because I know that and I choose that guy. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I voted for him and they counted my vote as that guy's. So if it's above board where you can physically see, You know, you could be standing behind that person in line or something like that. Doesn't exactly work perfectly, but typically it's going to be a secret ballot. So that's the question of, did they count my vote? But if the system looks like they counted your vote, like you see how it works and you go, wait a minute, that guy gets my power. In other words, if you saw that everyone was an equal, that's not elected representation. That's not 1-to-1. That's not RQ, right? Like Congress, US Congress, they're all equals. Well, okay, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't make any sense. They're not equals in reality. They know there's more people, these guys are having more people represent them, but that's another issue. And then the US House can be done different ways. You could take each state, like Texas has 38, and you could do those ranked, popular rank, which is essentially 1-to-1, but in a sort of slightly distorted version where you're truncating at 38. You're taking the top 38 people, but you're getting more people represented because each person can choose whoever they want. And we're counting those votes. Anyway, yeah, so no one's been able to really understand. Everyone can understand the math. That's nothing complex. You can regurgitate how it would work. But to understand the magic, people can't. You've got to be able to think about this. And so if you can't understand hypotheticals, you're completely out. You're not even remotely understanding anything I'm talking about. Because what you're waiting for is other people to be involved. So once other people do it, you'll get involved, and then that's that. But meanwhile, and that the sad part is you won't imprint on the board. So the first people to get involved are going to imprint on the board. And sadly, conservative people are real sticks in the mud idiots. And so they don't seem to be able to think about what's going on. They can't understand what words are. They think words come from like the dictionary. Like they think that's the meaning of that word. And that's what it is. And tomorrow with Bo and Dubs, I'm going to be talking about on the Uncast, textification, or what do they call it? Scalia's textualization. I don't know, whatever. This interpretation of so it's like people need to put labels on things, and then they start doing the whole label means something, and then but then what does it mean? They go, no, it means this. Again, they're not understanding what a word is. So this is a very important understanding, is that the reality of semantics is what a word means. Well, here you go. Top left, words mean only what the speaker thinks they mean when they use them. That means that, hello. What a stupid world. Thanks, Tard. Oh my God, I hate this camera. Unlock me. Praise the gods. And honestly, that's the hand signal. That is so crazy. I didn't know that. That's how I'm learning the hand signals. I'm sure there's a list somewhere. I'm just learning from just, as I do things, things react. So, and you can turn it off, but I don't know. I kind of want it. It's like that relationship with the bad Jew. You know, you're so glad to be over with the relationship, but then you want back in, and then you want to break up, and then you want back in. Honestly, broke up more than once per week. I calculated it very meticulously. So it was more than once per week. It was like every 6 days. Genuinely believed, that's it. I'm never talking to this psycho again. Okay, but meanwhile, get out there and do things and elect representatives. So elect for the board of people to report on the federal government. Okay, meanwhile, I'm also looking for other realitarians, people who live in reality. This is not a popular thing. Realitarians aren't popular. No one wants a guy that just points out like everything that's wrong. In fact, they think of people like me as like autistic. In fact, that's easier. If you think of me as someone on the spectrum of some kind of retardation, it's like, okay. Somehow that alleviates things. So go ahead and think that about me if you'd like. But the reality is that there's different aspects of our thinking, and some are it takes, I'm really good at certain things and then really bad at other types of thinking. And so that's really everybody. So really when you understand that, you learn that there's no throwing people away. There's no genociding some group because of their low IQ even, right? So once we're realitarians, then we can face reality, and we can do science. We can go back to intellectual science, understanding how the brain works and and intelligence and cognition and how that works. Because right now, everyone's saying it's racist because it makes certain groups of people look mentally retarded. And so what that means is just, oops, we've said, this is what society has said, the science is settled that certain groups of people are mentally retarded and there's nothing you can do about it. Don't stop looking into it. So that doesn't help those people, feel any better about themselves, saying that the science is settled and then treating them like they're literally unable to get IDs and they can't tie their shoes and can't take care of themselves. That's not helping anybody. So you need everyone. It doesn't matter if you're low IQ or high IQ. Once we realize, we can use whoever wants to help what's going on and wants to participate. I mean, people that want to help are less of a problem than people who are low intelligence. Okay, so that's the thing. If you just have a culture, is just so much more important than your learn what you've innately been born with. Feed a hyena. Hyenas are made to crunch and kill. Feed a hyena with your bare hands. You can make any animal into anything. You can make any animal into the nicest, kindest little thing. So this whole idea that we're we're all innately horrific monsters. We're all innately fascist. So anything you see a homo do is what you do. You're a homo. For whatever reason, we look at cats and go, oh, look at that cat behavior. Oh, he's doing that. That's what cats do. When you look at a homo, you're like, oh, look at that guy taking his crap in the street. He's a homo. You're a homo. Look in the mirror. Oh, God. That's the kind of animal I am. Why do we not see that? Wow, that's what I am. That's what we do. That is what we're homos, and that's what we do. We crap in the street. We're homos and we're fascists. Look at these Nazis. That's what we do. And if the Democrats had that approach, that's what we do, they would have never been Nazis. That's all it takes is some self-reflection. But they can't get there. And especially now that you supported absolute flaming Nazis. Anyway. So that's that. Enjoy your life. Be happy. I mean, come on.